Topical issues. This black gold is also a devil. This is KARIANGOFO barefoot. Kenyan African carrier corpse, or the donkey that carries news across, speaking about this thing called the black gold, which is a precious thing and also a devil. What is this precious black thing I'm talking about? I'm talking about a liquid that's found under the ground that when refined gives a lot of the produce that people want. I'm talking about something that has caused both joy and sorrow to the world. When KARIANGOFO was a small boy, he had, by then there weren't many televisions, people were using a radio. There was a radio called Sanyo at that time, popular radio. People would use radios to listen to the news. Some people are calling it wireless. They would use the wireless to listen to the news of what was happening around the world. And there was this war that was called Yom Kippur. And this Yom Kippur thing had happened. And because of fierce fighting, no ships would pass across the Suez Canal. And the parents, my father and the friends were talking about a crisis of a magnitude that has never been seen before. If there's no oil coming, the prices will skyrocket. Things will be impossible to buy. And the Yom Kippur thing went on. And after that, I came to get some knowledge about oil around the world. I realized countries with a lot of oil had a lot of say. For example, the United States, Texas, a very large reserve of oil. They say that if America was to use its own reserves without importing even a drop of oil, it will use over 10 years. Over 10 years without getting even a drop from elsewhere. Norway has got oil reserves in the North Sea. There is a lot of oil in Russia, which supplies most of the Eastern European countries. There is a lot of oil in the Middle East. There is a lot of oil in Africa and oil in Central America and South America. I was surprised that Venezuela is the leading country in oil reserve. There's no country with as much crude oil as Venezuela. It has got the highest. It also has had a record of crime with cocaine. And something happened which we can't support or oppose or whatever, but it's an interesting thing because it happened because this guy is supposed to be a seller of drugs, and he was taken, and suddenly there are pronouncements that his country can be able to produce over 50 billion barrels of oil. to a caretaker government, which is not Venezuelan. Interesting. So now one is even confused. Is it the oil? Is it the cocaine? But it has happened. Whatever has happened has happened. Those who know the truth know the truth. With us who don't know, we are left hanging between the two. Is it the oil? Is it the cocaine? Is it... Those who have got answers can give answers to that. Other countries have also fallen. Libya, Iraq, and many other countries. And the newly countries that are producing oil, Western Europe and America, want these countries to sell all their crude oil if possible. In fact, they dissuade building refineries. Sell us, we shall refine the oil and give it back to you. And that has been the trade deal. Why bother? Bring us the crude stuff. We give you the refined. It has been going on, a very good deal. But this set my mind rolling, and I started thinking, hey, KARIANGOFO, what is happening? Why is it that people who have advanced technologically, they're driving electric cars, even flying electric cars? Yes, they are using electricity in almost every field. So oil should not be a great issue. Why do they want all the oil pumped into the air? I was curious, I've been curious, because countries that have rumors of oil like Kenya, countries that have discovered oil like Uganda, countries with every country is telling you, we want to get a good price. When we get this oil, let it go to the United States. Good price. So I started wondering, why is America and Europe not satiated by the oil coming? Even some oil from Libya, I understand, is being buried in some countries in Europe. Why is it not satiated? Everything is going electrical. Why do you need so much oil to put underground? It left me baffled. And the countries that are discovering oil are in a selling craze to these countries. Discover oil, send them. The world market, you will buy it in whatever currencies and whatever currencies and whatever currencies, and you are a rich country because you can sing certain currencies. So I decided to look into this affair and find out what is there in petrol that is making these countries so interested in having it, so they are getting out of that technology. Then the first shocker is that crude oil is not replaceable. So as you withdraw, there'll be no replacement. And it is thought that in 46 to 56 years, we would have exhausted all the crude oil being mined. So in around 56 years, or let's push it further, 60 years, there'll be no crude oil on this earth. And what is happening? Countries that are hoarding. When you get the petrol, you take the petrol to them. So this thing of burying petrol underground kept me thinking. I'm not an expert. I'm just a mediocre person who studied up to degree level. So I can tell you from that range, not that of authorities. But that gives me the power to investigate because it's a license. So I decided to do my own investigations from things written by the authorities. I realized the importance of crude oil underground. That when you extract a lot of crude oil, you leave a gap where the oil was. And the earth has to do two things. One, cause earthquakes to try to balance that gap. Two, the earth crashes onto the surface where there was oil occupied. It crashes. Some land has crashed and gone even below sea level. That's what happens. That crashing into the earth, it has even happened in Texas, some places, where there's a lot of extraction. So it looks like these countries know what's happening. Then, what else has this precious thing that is sending every country going to war? Every country trying to suppress one another. Every country playing unfair against one another. Then I realized that oil is a unique liquid. Crude oil. First, underground, it works as a blanket, a cover. It fills in those spaces and is able to protect the top from the radiation because there's a lot of radiation from inside the earth. It is hot. It's able to protect some rays and whatever from within there. I know some people will argue. Some scientists will say it's not proven, like it's always said. But that's one purpose it does. Second, it balances the earth. So that when it's removed in its space, the earth has to struggle because the earth is always balancing itself. It is very sensitive. So, that oil pumping in may be a refilling in areas where it got out, but you're giving yours. Where will you get your refill? But that's not the problem. The problem is this oil can produce so many things. It gives you jet fuel. It gives you kerosene. It gives you petrol, naphthalene products. It gives you paints. It gives you lotions. It gives you Vaseline. It gives you aspirin. It gives you clothing material. It gives food. It produces animal feeds. It gives you tires mixed with rubber because you vulcanize carbon. It gives you plastics. It gives you medicines of different kinds. Practically, it's giving you almost everything. But you don't get that when you get the refined oil. So most of the countries are selling and missing out on that. They buy it expensively from the countries that have done that. Many chemicals come from petrol. It has got inexhaustible uses, but it's a limited liquid because it cannot be replaced. Now, having that knowledge, it means that when you have this thing, you have to be very careful because when that much is finished, we are not going to have reserves from other places. But I was wondering, this chemical, because scientifically we are told that animals in the prehistoric time that died were covered by soil, the sedimentary rocks pressed on these animals, and the animals got liquefied into crude oil. I don't argue with that. I agree, because that's what they tell us. But I'm also left wondering, Jupiter has a moon called Titan, the biggest moon. And it's bigger than our moon. And that moon is the only other place in this solar system, sun system, solar system, that has a climate, a weather running. It has rainfall, it has winter, it has summer, and people, scientists who are interested, are always studying this planetoid, this moon, behaving exactly like water behaves on Earth. When they send probes, the probes realize that this is not water, this is methane. Methane is the gas we use for cooking, the gas that is produced by animals that you use as biogas. So on that planet, methane is able to behave the way water behaves here. It is in liquid form, forming oceans. It evaporates, and when it gets up, it falls as methane rain. But the interesting thing is, those who the probes sense that the place smells like a petroleum refinery, meaning that petroleum products are natural. I don't know. I may be wrong. Or maybe they also had many fossilized animals that died and whatever. I'm not arguing. The experts tell us so. When this product is gone, the countries that will be left with this product will have a very strong bargaining power, because there are some chemicals that can only be gotten from petroleum. There are some things that can only be gotten from petroleum. I'm not saying it's bad to sell. Keep some reserve for balancing the earth. Keep some reserve for yourself. And also, refine yours. Why lose out on all those products while you can be able to do it? And why is this obsession of barren? So there is something about petrol that those who know, those who have eaten the fruit, those who have the knowledge, are keeping it knowing. Those who have not eaten the fruit, the naive, the innocent like us, we dish it out. We found something that can dish it out. And those that know tell you, bring it. Even if you want to fill all the ships with everything, bring, we shall give you the refined product. Question is, we don't ask ourselves, why are these countries that have gone electrical still in their systems, still not saturated by the amount of crude oil that is going there? This is just a reminder to countries that are selling. It's not bad to sell, it's a natural resource. It's good, it can bring you money. But there are things that we don't know about crude oil. And others know about those things. And those things may make a very big difference in the balance of power in the future. So you may give and you'll be left without, you'll go electrical, but you will realize there are certain things that can only be gotten from that liquid. And the countries that have it will be able to control wherever they want to control. But The countries that have sold it out will be crying and gnashing their teeth. I'm not saying it's bad to sell. But I'm also making us awake to the fact that there are many things that happens with this oil that we are not yet conversant with. And these things we have to study as countries, we have to study as human beings, as people belonging to these countries that are selling, so that we get to know, is it safe when we sell everything? Or will there be repercussions later? We have heard of earthquakes, places that have been extracting, they don't tell you, but they experience earthquakes. And there have been some earthquakes of a high magnitude, up to level 4, because of the extraction of that product. So, when we see the excitement in the world, let's ask ourselves, what is in this thing that makes countries not get satiated, that we would like to miss, and we won't mind about it in future maybe? That's why I'm saying, do your own research about petrol, said by the experts. Sell, but in moderation. Spare some for yourself, and know that within 46 to 56 years, there'll be no petrol. That is the way the scientists say. Also, try to mind what it does to cover the shock with the earth. It's good to sell, but my take is, do you know what you're missing out? Ponder on that. Eat the fruit. Eat the fruit. Be wise. That's my take for now.